Eh, oh my goodness. Hey y'all, I'm so sorry about that, y'all. For all those that's been watching, y'all. Hey, so we had a little technical difficulties over here, but we're good. We're good, y'all. We are back with it. It's My Life Speaks. Welcome everybody. Another week of My Life Speaks. Another week of amazing conversation. We got some great people with us here tonight. We got DJ. We got my girl Jamila. We got Queen. We got E Ray. Hope I said it right. And we got Chris with us. All right. Everybody good?
I
How y'all
think
doing?
so. I think
We
we're good.
good.
Everybody
We
cool?
good.
All right. So let's start. Ray, it's up to you.
Yeah,
It's on you.
this is her topic. Let her introduce the topic, and we can follow up.
Good evening, y'all. Okay, so this is my first time introducing the topic and actually coming up with the topic. So I'm a little nervous, so bear with me if I get a little like awkward. Okay. So I still listen to radio, right? And not a whole lot of people still listen to radio. So I do. And one of the things that a lot of people are wondering are if they should go back to their ex, right? That's been a question that people have been asking lately in this season for some reason. But I think it was something good to talk about because I mean, we're all regular people, just like the regular people, and it's something that we should talk about, you know, with each other and amongst ourselves. It's an important topic, because sometimes going
Right.
back can either start a new life for you or end a new life for you. So you got to be real careful when you're doing things. So basically, it's just the pros and cons of going back to your ex, and what type of work do you have to do in order to be ready to even do something like that? Should you? And what kind of work do you need to do on yourself and expect from the person that you want to get back with, when actually making that move? So that's really
Shoot.
that's the topic.
I think the question should be, do you even want to go back to your ex?
Right.
That should be the question. Like, no. I'm
It's
cool.
it's crazy
Yeah,
because it's so common. It's so common. People
it
do it
is
all the
common.
time.
It's familiar.
Yeah.
You,
Yep.
you know what? Somebody said that to me too. Like somebody, and you know what? For those that know her, oh dang, I ain't gonna say her. For those that know that she has been a part of this show and she has been on the show, and everybody know. She told me like she'd rather stick with someone that she knows and stay in something toxic than to start over.
No, sir.
Better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. That's what some say.
Yeah.
Wow.
But is that healthy?
No,
No.
no, absolutely not.
Like, is that how someone that like that? I think that's toxic to me. Like, so
I
you'd
think
rather stay in this.
that's like a trauma response.
I just can't
But
stand
see,
like
that's
sometimes
not.
I would rather.
Does he ever technically become her ex then?
Well,
Like
they
you,
have to have
Mm.
like broken up and then get back together, but that's like trauma. Something I think something has had to maybe have happened when they were younger for them to want to stay in some toxicity, because that's you're not mentally sound. To me, you're not mentally sound if you want to go back into something that's toxic. That's crazy to me.
It's the
I mean, you're
definition of
far from it.
insanity.
Huh?
The literal definition of insanity: doing the same thing over and
And
expecting
expecting
different
something
results.
different. That no, because
okay, so I have a couple of reasons, a couple of pros that people usually do it for, right? It's psychological safety, right? Just like Timothy said, you know what you're getting into if you go back to them,
But
right?
that's toxic.
You try to focus on the opportunity for growth.
what?
You have unresolved feelings for this person. You have to getting back together might help you resolve like lingering emotional feelings of like what if. And then another reason would be shared history. You guys have you and your ex have developed a shared past, and you look back on that emotional bond and think that okay, yeah, that's a good reason for us to get back together.
But
Do you
it's, I
guys
mean,
think that any
but
of those are good reasons?
I mean, don't get me wrong, because there are some times where I feel like you can, like, as you say, there's times where some people have to take like a break to to work on themselves. I've seen it. They worked on themselves. They actually got a divorce to work on themselves. You know, now I don't know in between if they was talking to other people. That part I don't know. But I do know that they came back together and they got remarried. And then they got divorced again on down the road. But I'm just saying.
You could have had a
But-
happy ending or something on that story.
Right.
But there are times where some people have got back together and they say that it had to take that break for them and then they worked it back out.
And we talking about people that are married or people that are single?
We're talking about people that were in a relationship with someone that lasted for a period of time where they ended up like bonding with each other, right? And then they got to a point where it didn't work out anymore. They either, for different reasons, they separated, right? And now that person is officially like, that's their ex. Like, this is my ex-boyfriend or my ex-fiance or my ex-husband. This is my ex. That's somebody that I was with, that I came to a point where I couldn't deal with it anymore. Whatever they were going through with that person, or maybe they just grew apart. And then later on, they spin the block and they're like, you know what? Either they've dated multiple more people and those people didn't feel something that person filled, or or they're in a situation where it's like, I miss this person, and now I'm gonna spin the block and try to go back to this person. Like, if somebody tried to spin the block on one of y'all, would you take them back?
It depends on who.
Absolutely not.
No,
Absolutely not.
no.
It
Yeah.
Why not, Jamila?
What'd you say?
I said, why not?
Because for me, and I truly only have one actual ex, and I am married now. And so what I would say is, during that relationship, I feel like I tried every single thing possible to make the relationship work. And I was like one of those people into like all of the relationship influencers, all the relationship books, all of that stuff. And I feel like we literally tried everything to make the relationship work. And I'm very happy I did. Granted, it was a very tumultuous, like towards the end, very tumultuous relationship. The beginning was great though, and all that. And it's a regular relationship. You go through things. But we ultimately realized like we were not right for each other. And I'm happy we tried everything. Because whenever I used to think, like, what if we did this? Well, we did it. Oh, well, what if I tried that? We did that. It didn't work. It didn't work. And that's something I'll say. And not that like, oh my God, I did every relationship right, all this. No, that's not true. But with like that extra knowledge that I had from like being into all of that relationship stuff during that period of my life, I feel like it pushed me to like try more things instead of ending prematurely. And so I feel like a lot of times people end prematurely, and that's why they're willing to go back, because they're like, oh, wait, we didn't try this. And it's like, oh, well, we didn't try that. Like, oh, we didn't work on ourselves or whatever the situation is. And it's like, let's get back together and try that. And then you realize it doesn't work. And so I feel like for me, I would not go back because I tried everything and I wish that person well in their life. And we recently ran into each other at the gym and like, we wish each other well. I mean, it's whatever. And we're both like happy in our lives now, because that was like, we broke up like 8 years ago or 9, I don't know. But yeah, it's just sometimes when a person's not for you, they're just not for you. So that's why I would not go back. But I will say, I feel like with that specific person, I tried everything.
So, okay, so you basically was trying to make it work, but like, it takes two in a relationship. It takes two for two people to try to put, and then it takes consistency too. It takes consistency. And if people are not willing, and this is the thing I believe, is people don't want to work through difficult times. I feel like they don't want to work through the difficulties because we're not going to always see eye to eye on certain things. We're not going to always agree on how you do things, on how I do things. But that's okay. That doesn't mean that, we're not fit. No, I just don't see it like how you see it. No matter how you try to make me see it, no matter how I try to make you see it, I don't see it like that. That doesn't mean that, we're not compatible. Like, people be like, we're not compatible. No, that don't mean that. You have so many other things. And sometimes we oversee 80-something things and we just harvest on one little thing. You be like, are you serious? But that's how people do, and I don't understand that.
How do you think you gauge the length of time that a person needs, like, to get that for their partner to get it together? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you even gauge that? Like, if you're with a person and you're like, well, you got 6 months to get it together, and they don't get it together in 6 months, and then you leave, and then they say, okay, I needed 6 more months. Now we haven't been together for 6 months.
Oh,
Can we
I
get
feel
back
like
together?
top me in. I have an answer.
Yeah.
I feel like this is something that we don't do often, is we don't like realize, is it just a conflict, or is it a conflict of values? So if it's a conflict of values, unfortunately, that's never going to be solved. If it's something that you're not willing to compromise on, that's not going to be solved, whether you give it 3 months or 5 years. It's not going to be solved. And at that point, you must evaluate, is this relationship worth continuing? And most of the time it's not. If it's a value that neither of you want to compromise, then you're not going to be able to walk together, because you're always going to differ. But if it's just like a regular conflict, I feel like at that point you'd be able to give it time. And usually typical conflicts don't take months, and like they usually maybe 2 months max if it's like a very strong conflict.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times we are arguing over conflicts of values when you dig down deep into the problem. And that is where those long standing issues last. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Well, I totally agree with what Princess, I said whatever Princess she said. I'm sorry, somebody start reading.
Princess Bacotti, she said, sometimes you don't know what you have until it's gone.
You don't.
Yeah.
And I think the reason is because we don't really give ourselves enough time to try to work it out. Let me tell you how so normally on a job, a good job, whatever, your benefits don't kick in to about 90 days. But you give it time.
Longer than that.
Right, but you give it time. You give it time. Now, there's some difficulties that you see that you didn't see in training, some stuff that they didn't show you, that when you get out of training, you'll be like, oh, now, and some things you got to learn on the go. Yeah. Same way is, but you know what? You find ways to work through it, and you come back, you be like, okay, I thank God that I'm home, whatever. You go back, it's okay. But the same thing with relationships. You got to learn certain things on the go, because some people, now look, this is me. One pet peeve I can't stand. It's non-negotiable. I cannot stand if somebody leaves toothpaste in the sink. Like they brushing their teeth. I be like, oh my God. Look.
But how do you know that? For you, how do you know that until you're married?
Or live together, unless you married or y'all shacking up, baby. Well, how you know?
But see, that's like that's the thing with when like that's the thing of getting married, and you do it the godly way. You got to find all this stuff out afterwards, and you have to work through these things. Like I can't stand somebody else who take their clothes right off when they get off and just throw them. Like, wait a minute, put them all in a hamper. Like it's certain things I'm like, don't wait till like all your clothes is dirty, then you gotta stay up washing all night long. Like, certain things.
I think that's what makes the dating phase important. Like, I think that's really what makes the date. Like, I feel like you learn as much as you can before you even enter into the relationship, so that if it's gonna, so that they turn into just somebody that didn't work out instead of a whole ex. I think people rush into relationships and end up getting involved with somebody that if they would have just gave it a little more time, learning this person and, just spending time with the person, asking this person the right questions. Sometimes it's just asking the right questions.
What are questions?
Go ahead, Queen. What'd you say?
What are some of those questions? Because I'm single, so,
Okay, Queen.
we meet these people on these dating sites and just period, and then you just want to talk, have conversation, and I do believe you will learn certain things along the way, like different topics and all that. But I hear a lot about if you ask the right questions. What are the right questions? But and that also
she going somewhere with this. That's good.
Person to person.
Yeah, I think it differs from person to person. What exactly are your values or your core things that affects you in your everyday life?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. God, hold on, wait a minute. That's good what you said, because That makes a lot of sense. Like, you know, what, like, some people don't, I agree. They don't know what to ask. I didn't. I didn't know what to
Yeah,
ask.
all
And
of us.
check
Yeah,
this
at some
out.
point.
I was getting, you know, I was going to my parents who had been married. You know, my father had passed at the time. Well, when he passed, my mom and dad, they were married for 33 years. So I figured if I could get it from anybody, I could go to them and get, you know, but it was showing, but, you know, like certain things that they went through, they're not experiencing, people today are not experiencing.
Oh yeah.
So it's different. It's a different conversation because
Yep.
times have changed. You know, times have changed. Things have
Evolve.
evolved, and so
And
so it was weird because I'm thinking like, okay, I can go to them, I can get this, and no, that's not necessarily true. So I learned a lot of questions on what to ask from failure.
Yeah,
Ooh,
but I
okay,
think
yeah.
here's what I think the end goal has been the same, is the same no matter what century we're in. What is your intent? That's the first question.
yeah,
What do you want out of this?
I
What
that
is your intent? Because learning that first, knowing that first, when you apply for a job, you want to know what you're going to be doing, right?
Right.
What am I working towards, and how can I get promoted? You know, what's going to be what I'm going to look forward to every day. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like you start there. Like if you ask someone, okay, what's your, like, what is this? You know, what do you want to do? Where do you want this to go? And I think that also steers it. That's my son, y'all. Sorry.
Did he scare
I
you?
think that kind of steers. I'll be back in a second. I'll be out in a second. Oh my gosh, yo, you so corny. Close the door. I'm so sorry, y'all. So I feel like that steers the relationship. Like if you're Queen, if you're looking for something solid, if you're looking for a husband and you go to a man and you're like, okay, well, what do you, or a man comes to you and he trying to rap to you and you're asking him, okay, well, what is it that you want? Because I'm looking for a husband. Then you can't wave from that. What happens is people sway from what their intent is based on the person or based on how that person makes them feel. You know what I'm saying? There's not like I feel like you kind of have to look at a relationship like a business, right? When you first start that business, what is it that you want to accomplish? You know, and if your business partner don't want to accomplish the same thing that you want to accomplish, don't waver. You know what I'm saying? You end up wavering and then now y'all exes. Now you trying to figure out if y'all need to do things over again.
I feel like it's maybe a chicken or the egg thing, because sometimes I think maybe start with the intent, but also I think if your values don't line up, it doesn't matter if they
It's
want
never gonna work.
and you want to get married, and then you feel like, oh, later on, like you think this about, I don't know, finances. Granted, it's kind of like what you're gonna bring that up on your first time meeting someone. So it's like, okay,
If your intent is to marry them, yep,
like how
you sure are.
Like what? I had a conversation.
I don't know. I feel like sometimes we've lost the art of socialization just because we're so much on social media and all these things. And when you meet someone, like, yeah, maybe we have the same intent, but it's, even if you go back to that business analogy, when you're working with these old money companies, you don't just go up and start talking like, okay, this is our contract, this is that. They want to take you out to dinner, you sit down, you kind of meet them first, and you do that first. And I feel like sometimes we're missing that art when we're so lost in getting like that relationship goal that we want. And so I feel like it's an art of like meeting someone and kind of working towards those things, even the value questions. But yeah, so I kind of feel like we need to take it a little bit slower and relearn how to socialize in person, because we're good online, but
that is facts, because that is that's lost today. Like just talking to each other.
What do you think, DJ? You haven't said anything yet. What you think, buddy?
Well, I think first of all, how you go into the relationship is most important. Not everybody, I guess a lot of it might depend on your age, but like when you're older, I feel like you're sort of getting into this point where you're wanting to settle down, you want to start a family, or maybe you've been around the block a few times and you sort of know what it is that you want. But I think like when you're younger, you don't really go into a relationship with an intent. And I think honestly, I feel like in a lot of ways that's the best way to do it. Because I feel like when you go into the relationship with an intent, like I'm dating for a purpose, I'm doing this to get me, then what happens is that you end up forcing the situation, right? You already know what you want, and you have this idea of what your partner is and then should be, and then a lot of times you don't find that person, end up single for the rest of your life. Somebody got a nice little echo going, cool.
Yeah, nice
um
little echo. Tim, you're on twice, just so you
You gotta
know.
mute
I
yourself
know.
on one of
I
those.
know. I did that. My bad. Go ahead.
so yeah, but yeah, so like, when you're doing the dating with a purpose, like you have this idea of what it is that you want, and then you can't find somebody to fit that mold, so you end up not getting married, or you don't pursue the relationship because
Mhm.
nobody's the right person, as opposed to like just going into something more organically, where you meet somebody, you connect with them, and you're not even maybe not even thinking about even going into it with the purpose of a relationship. It's just somebody I met, this girl I met, this guy I met. It was cool. We started kicking it, spending more time together, and then the relationship blossomed over time, and then it continued to grow, into a marriage phase, or whatever it is that it turns into, as opposed to having this goal. Like I got this goal, and if you don't fit into this mold, then you're not the one. Um, but like as far as the pros and cons of going back to an ex, I think a lot of what was already said. A lot of it is the devil. There's comfort in it. There's a certain level. I don't think it's necessarily got to be toxic. Sometimes your relationships just don't work. You know what I'm saying? They don't
Mhm.
mean that there's
Right.
anything toxic. Um, and I think a lot of times, I know, like for me, one of my big hesitations to even going into a new relationship is having to go through the process of learning a new person.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
having to learn um, who they are, what their values are, and even like bigger thing about their family. Like which one of their brothers is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it's not always just about that person. Maybe that person has kids, or
Yeah.
maybe you
Yeah.
have kids, and then you got to learn their kids, and how they are as a parent, especially if you think thinking about marriage and like coming into like a blended household. You might not like how this person parents, or you might like it. You know what I'm saying? But you've already sort of established your values as a parent or whatever else. So what happens again is that for me, like I said, just the overall, like just the hesitation or the reluctancy to have to just learn somebody else, have to learn their family, have to learn their kids, have to learn about how they are with their finances, what what I'm saying, how much debt are they in. When I can go back to my ex, when I already know all of that, or I mean, the other option is just to stay single. You know what I'm saying? Like um, I think a lot of times we're just saying marriage is the goal, marriage is the prize, marriage, 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 marriage. When sometimes being single should be the goal. Sometimes being, just being by yourself. It doesn't mean you can't spend time with somebody and have company, because I think we all want company and companionship. But we set these, goals, and we go into relationships. We don't even know who we are. So like you might be with somebody, you might break up with this person, and to be like, oh, I had some growing to do. Well, you might have had some growing to do. That person might have had some growing to do. Problem is that y'all didn't work on growing together. All right. So I could have went and grew. You could have grew, but I grew that way. You grew this way.
But sometimes you may not know what to grow or work on unless you're in a relationship. Because like you won't know what flaws you have if you by yourself until somebody like your relationship, somebody point out like, oh yeah, this is how you are. You'd be like, what? And
Yeah.
then, you know what I'm saying? So you may not know.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, like, being in a relationship does help you to put certain thing in perspective. But I don't think that comes as the result of one relationship. I think that has to come over the result of many relationships where you start seeing continual patterns. Like we like to say this thing, like where we like, I attract a certain type. Like, no, it's you. It was like, it is you. You are the common factor between everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Now, that is true.
Yeah.
Like you're not attracting a certain type. It's something.
DJ's dropping gems over here.
I try.
He was quiet. Now he got it all.
Oh yeah.
I was absorbing. But yeah, so like, so I think, it's like one of those just things where, like you have to learn yourself. You have to know who you are and what you want. And a lot of times you're not going to understand that. Like when you buy a house, like, or have your first apartment or whatever, seems like a dream until you get into it, and then you start to see little issues, maybe not just with the house, but like maybe how the house was like constructed. So when you go to your next house, you're just like, next time I buy a house, I'm not buying a house that has a driveway that slopes downwards because it floods. You know what I'm saying? So there's all these things you don't know until you have experienced it. And once you've experienced it, then you have a little bit more knowledge of who you are,
and that's the point.
You want out of the relationship. And also understanding, like you said, Tim, like it's you don't know until you're in that relationship, but you don't know until you've done this multiple times, or at least a couple, when you come to realize that you are the common factor between all of this. And when you spend time with people, your personality starts to rub off on them. So when you start seeing some of the same traits with everybody else, it's like that's because of you. You are putting your essence on people. People are adjusting around you. Just like you're adjusting around them, they're adjusting around you. And then you come to not like that person because now that person is reflecting you and you don't like who you are. You just don't know that yet until you're seeing yourself in other people. But when you break up, it ain't never your fault. Nobody ever thinks that they're the villain in their own story. It's always the other person. But until somebody has held that mirror up to you several times and you take back and you're like, look, something's happening here. I got to take a step back and learn who I am. But that doesn't mean that you go back to that same person, because that person might be doing the same thing. And then you come back together like, I've grown. Well, we've both grown. So let's try to work it out. But the thing about it is that in that growing, we come to realize that just the simple act of growing was not enough, because we've grown in different ways. I'll land my plane on that one, I suppose.
But DJ, to your point of something that you said is, we all have our own identity. We understand that. But sometimes our spouse, she can see something in me that sometimes it takes her to see something in me that I didn't necessarily see in myself, but she saw traits of it, and she could pull that out of me to make me a better person if I'm willing to listen. For one, as a man, if I'm willing to listen, because how people be like, oh, I see this in you, and you be like, I don't really necessarily see that, but other people been saying it for time after time. Like, then she could be the one that pulls that out of you, just like with a man and a woman. Like, he can see something in her that she didn't necessarily see in herself, and can encourage her and bring her like, babe, like, look, this is you. This is all you. So that's what, but sometimes now that's the positive side. On the flip side, they can see something in you, and instead of nurturing it and helping you birth that out, they can do the opposite and hate on you and despise you and be insecure of you because they see something great in you and they don't want you to elevate. They want you to stay in the same spot that you are. Now that's the opposite side of it. So that's when you know that you got somebody that's not really for you. But I say somebody that's for you is they want you to do better. Because when they know that when you do better, we do better. And see, that's the thing that we're not willing to work at is this is a we thing. It's not a me thing, it's a we thing. Are you willing to put your stuff in the basket and she put her stuff in the basket so that we can both grow and become great together? But this is something that you got to learn before you even jump, like before you even cross over.
Yeah, self-awareness is going to be a huge thing with either starting a relationship, getting back into an old relationship, or anything. Self-awareness is going to be like one of the biggest things that's going to attribute to whether it's going to be successful or not.
Yeah. And one other thing too that DJ had mentioned was it's not necessarily just the one relationship. It can be multiple relationships. And I think that's another thing we need to focus on is everyone's so busy wanting a romantic relationship. It's like, you guys don't even have communities of good friends. Like, are you even a good friend?
I agree with that. I agree.
A good daughter, son. And from that, those relationships can help you grow a lot. And it's not just going to be all on that romantic partner to help you grow. And
well, so nowadays they think when they see you with somebody that y'all together, y'all in a relationship. Like,
yeah. So I just feel like if you cultivate those relationships, you'll grow a lot in that way. And then by the time you're with someone, it's just a lot easier. And when you have relationships, those people, they can spot out, oh, that person's not good for you. And if your friends and your family and your parents, everybody's saying it, you have trusted confidants. Oh, they're seeing something I'm not. So that that gem he dropped about, it's not just the one relationship. I think us as a society definitely need to work on that, because what does it mean to be a good friend and good everything?
I think when you're hearing criticisms or whatever and it's just coming from one person, the natural reaction is just to be defensive. I'm not like that. I don't do that. I don't interrupt when you talk. I don't do this and that. But then when you start hearing that same complaint over and over and over, then you might start thinking about it a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's that first time. It's just man, you don't know what you're talking about. You're the problem, not me. Like I said, dude, you're the common thread. You're the common thread every time. And it's hard for us to admit to that because, like I said, the first thing we want to do is I attract a certain type. I attract the type that tell me I talk too much. I attract the type that always want to tell me that I got problems and issues. I'm like, no, you do. That's not a type that you're attracting. It's you. It is definitely you. But nobody wants to be the villain in their own story. Nobody ever sees from that perspective.
Yeah. And I think the differentiation between those relationships is how that person handled the situation as well, right? So if everybody's telling you, okay, well, yeah, you interrupt me, yeah, you do this, but you have someone that's like, hey, I was talking, you're doing a little interrupting, let's not do that. As opposed to others that's stop, interrupt me, and are aggressive or handle it in a different way. So I feel yes, the person, the man or the woman are definitely the common denominator in those relationships. But I think how the person that they were actually interacting with, the other person in the relationship, has a lot to do with it as well. How they reacted to whatever that person's flaws were, right? After the veil is lifted from you guys just seeing each other, there's a physical thing there that happens first, right? Because we see each other first. And then there's a conversation that's had, and either you're like, ew, or it's like, oh, I want to know more.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just kind of how that other person reacted to you matters as well.
Yeah. I agree, because I know that was one of the things that I had to work on with myself was my reactions. And I know for me, in my mind, there was nothing wrong with how I react. And even to this day, I still feel like there was nothing wrong with how I react.
Of course not.
Wait, DJ, is that the reason why y'all ended?
Let him say. Let him let us say.
So, although even still, I don't believe that my reactions were unreasonable. What I've come to learn over multiple relationships is that I get villainized a lot of times because of how I react, right? Because what I've noticed in relationships is nobody wants to talk about what you did to make me react the way that I did. Like the story always starts at my reaction, right? So now I'm the bad guy because of how I react. And because of that, I end up, like I said, I end up being villainized. And after you end up being villainized so many times, reason why I felt like I had to step back and change how or analyze how I react is simply for me was like I was getting tired of being made out like I was the one who started the problems because of the way I react.
But sometimes you gotta embrace it, bro.
Question.
Yes, you.
So DJ, DJ, how? So you're saying that because they did something, they made you react a certain way?
No, so it's not. I react the way I react. It's not. Nobody can make me do anything. Right?
You said that, but you
so
did.
No. What I'm saying is that I get faulted for the way I react because when the other person is telling the story as to why we got into a fight, their version of the story tends to be, well, he was yelling at me. So and I'm like, how we start the story right there. So it was like if you, like, especially we're talking about women, and I am a man, and if a woman is telling another woman or telling other people, man, he just yells at me, what is that gonna make me look like? Like it makes it look like I just came in from work from after having a bad day and took my aggression out on you. When that's not the way that happened at all. Like we're not gonna talk about what it was that you did that got me upset to begin with. We just start at he walked out the house and slammed the door, which is not something I do, but I'm just like, it was like how do we start the story at my reaction? Like if you're gonna tell the story, which we all need people to confide in, like we need that.
Yeah.
But it's like if you're gonna do that, tell the whole story. That's what I try to do. I strive to tell the whole story, regardless of how it makes me look. Even if it makes me look bad, because I can't help to grow. I mean, if you're in a growth mindset where you're just like really analyzing yourself, and you're gonna tell you're gonna tell your side of the story, and of course, there's two sides to every story. But if you're gonna tell the story, and nowhere in that story did you talk about anything that you did wrong, and you didn't talk about, like for me, the part that I would have to talk about that I did wrong was how I react. So I got it. Like I would have to be like, yeah, I started yelling, I got mad, blah, 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 I stormed out the house. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be honest. It's like, and if you're not going to be honest, the reason why when people get in relationships and they can't heal, like it's, if they can't heal, you had a fight, you had a breakup, you can't heal because you're going around lying about what happened. So if you're not going to be honest about what happened, you're sitting here wondering, how come I can't heal? That's because you're trying to heal the lie that you told yourself. You're trying to heal the lie that you done went and told everybody else. So you can't help to ever heal whatever trauma you're going through because you have not been honest about what you did. You haven't been honest about your role.
But that's on them.
It's always on the other person.
I mean, but that's on them. At the end of the day, that's on them.
What's on them?
So when you said they can't heal, I'm like, well, I'm like, well, that ain't got nothing to do with me. That's what I'm talking about. So for instance, what I'm saying is like between me and my ex, how after we got our divorce and everybody know how it happened, she started going on podcasts and all this stuff. She was writing like a whole bunch of stuff. So remember I told you sometimes you gotta embrace it. So she made, yeah, even though I did what I did, but she added on like a little more,
A
right?
little seasoning,
Yeah, she added on a little more. But
Some
there was
all
a time
purpose.
where I just had to embrace
little
it.
fat on.
I had to embrace the bad guy side because it's like I got tired of trying to defend this, defend that. I didn't know. Because one thing I know, after a while, time will reveal everything. Time will reveal everything. Now, at first, everybody was chirping, but you let a little 5 years, 6 years go by. Now it's been 7. I don't know how long it's been, but everybody see the truth now. And so what I'm saying is, there, you know, because I was like that too. I felt like I had to do this, I had to do that. I was like, nah, like that ain't the truth, that ain't the truth. But now people see the truth because when you see somebody who always, like you said, DJ, you said they always making themselves look good and trying to make the other person look bad, and it was always the other person. Sensible people would know, like, wait a minute, they ain't say nothing about them. They keep talking about the other person.
Right.
Something
That's
ain't
true.
right.
But that's
true, but I feel like what he's kind of touching at is if you are trying to stay in the relationship and like it'll cause a problem in the relationship because like, yeah, if you're actually exes, of course, that's not your problem anymore.
Well, I thought he was talking about exes.
I mean, it is an ex, but like right before they get to be an ex, if they can't heal and it's causing all of this contempt in the relationship, it is your problem if you're still trying to work it out and fix it. I mean, you
and
can't.
it definitely is your problem if you go back.
He didn't say it was like we still trying to work it out. I don't think he's talking about
I'm saying it can apply in either situation. Like either, you know, when you're trying to work it out, or it's afterwards when you're trying to heal from that. You know what I'm saying? Either way, you can't help to fix the problem if you're not going to be honest about what the problem is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if you got I don't know, let's say you got leaky pipes or something, you know what I'm saying, and you keep trying to fix this leak, but you not address the, you know, the fact that you like flushed like paper towels down the toilet. That's the reason why it's still flooding. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to essentially treat the symptoms and not, you know what I'm saying, and not the cause. So
hey, DJ, somebody said you triggered, man. Person said DJ triggered.
What's
she
my
said, let's
sign?
go deeper. She want to know what your sign is.
I ain't even gonna say because probably nah, I'm not a Leo.
That is funny. That is funny.
Look
at you.
So my question is, DJ, have you done any work on how you respond to certain situations, and have you been able to come to a point where you know, okay, I know what you're about to say is gonna trigger me or is gonna drive me to a place where I'm gonna respond to you in a way that you're not gonna appreciate? Like, have you done any work on that? So that if you were to start a new relationship, I don't know if you're in a relationship or not, but is that something that you know you can spot and that you can stop?
Absolutely. Like I said, it was one of those things where, you know, like my responses were getting me in trouble, how I was responding. And what I come to realize was when I stepped back and I stopped arguing. Like, you know, that was one of my big things, like stopped arguing, right? So it's like if her and I were, you know, had a disagreement about something, a lot of times we get onto like this carousel. You make your point, I make your point. We going back and forth, arguing the same point. First thing I had to learn was I said what I said. You know, it sounds harsh, but it's like I said what I said. I don't have anything new to contribute to this conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still here to listen. You can say whatever you like. I'm gonna stand here and I'm gonna listen. But us going back and forth, and I don't have anything additional. And I know you heard what I said. Like I know, and I mean, no, I'm like, this is how, like, but this is how it is when people are arguing with each other. Like I heard you the first time, and you heard me the first time. So why we keep going back and forth on this same point, on these same, you know, points?
Is that a woman thing?
Huh?
Is that a woman thing to have to repeat herself?
No, I think it's just a people thing,
I was,
man.
no, I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
asking
because
ladies.
the
I
men
was asking
definitely
ladies.
do it too, and then they try
Yeah.
to mansplain it. And you be like, "What? Why are you trying to say it again in a different way? I heard you the first time. I
Yeah,
didn't get it."
exactly. You heard me the first
Or
time,
okay,
and I heard you the first time. So why are we going back and forth? So that was one of the big things I had to learn how to do was make my point. Only time I got to the point where only time that I'm going to rehash my point is that if it needed clarity, and I'm only giving you clarity if you ask me, right? Because I'm like, otherwise I'm gonna have to assume that you understood and said, understood what I said, or unless you're trying to somehow twist or misrepresent my point,
Gotcha.
then I might have to go back and like clarify, like, no, I didn't say that.
What you've been saying, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like one of the big issues that I was having was and I don't know if this is a woman thing or not. Y'all ladies, y'all gotta tell me, because this is
we
one
are
of
all different. You really can't generalize it.
I
And
know,
because we
but
try not to
again,
do that with men too, because
Nah,
it's
ladies.
not a safe space when you start
Hell,
I
generalizing.
know, but that's
things.
why I'm saying, like, I'm
Ladies.
asking. That's why I'm saying, like, because I don't know. It could be men might do this too, but I don't have experience with being in relationships with men.
With men, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that guy's on trial right now. Like me, I'm like,
done.
Oh,
but one of the things that like I would experience is like I say something, and when it comes back to me, it's not what I said, but more about how she felt about what I said.
That's
Right. So it's kind of like, and it could be like on anything. Like I could be saying, like giving directions on how to get somewhere and be like, go down the street, make a right. She go down the street and make a left, and like can't figure out why she got lost. I'm like, I said go down and make a right, and she be like, well, I felt like you said go left. I'm like, wait, what? Like, how did you feel? Like I said,
well, that probably
said-
wasn't a very good example, but
no,
we know
I
what you
look,
mean.
no,
though.
this is
I feel like that's actually a really great example.
No, how you feel like he said something different? If he said left, he said left.
that's that, but
it's
that,
the tone though, the tone of
Yeah,
voice, and all that
it's the
stuff.
tone.
That was
Sometimes
the-
when someone says something, you be feeling like they're like, "Oh, you look good today." Like you be feeling like, "Nah, you're shady." Like
But
you
when-
know.
but what I'm saying
That's
is,
not a yeah, but that's not a left and right.
you would
Okay,
think
I'm
so.
thinking too far into it
You-
because
you
I'm
would
thinking left
think
is left
so.
and right is right. My
You-
version of pretty is
See?
not your version of pretty, or my version of ugly is
That's
not
right.
your
what DJ
so
just
it's
said
so it's
before.
based on the person. Left and right are not based on the person.
And-
Left and
and-
right are
and-
left and right.
And I get, and that was part of my big confusion, because it wasn't like we were, having a conversation or arguing about like opinions and emotions. It'd be like having an argument about something that is verifiable. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, said go this way. Well, that's what you meant. I'm like, how? And I'm like, how all of a sudden you replacing facts with your feelings? I'm like,
Because-
left is left, right is right. Like, how are we arguing
Hey, bro,
about
because
how
at the
you
end of the
felt
day-
about
at the end
like
of the day,
hey, we could check the weather. It rained yesterday. Well,
she want to be right. At the end of the day,
I
she wanna
felt
be
like
right.
it didn't. I'm just like, oh,
She just want to be right at the end of the
Okay.
It's
day.
not necessarily that. It's
Yeah.
basically, I feel like it's people who like have different mindsets, and some people are going off of like tones and body language and cues more, which we do speak a lot through body language and cues. Sometimes
Yeah.
if someone says you mad, are you mad? A lot of times you say, nah, I ain't mad, but like you are mad. And so sometimes we do rely on that, and then vice versa. Sometimes you just seem mad, but you're actually not mad, and you have to listen to what you say. And I feel like people, they go off of, like, sometimes they're reading off of body language and it's like, no, I need you to actually listen to my words, or
The
vice
words.
versa. Like, please listen to my words. My body language is just off because I'm tired and sick, or whatever the case may be. So I feel like that is something
That's a
that
lot.
happens. And also I feel like when going back to like being in arguments, I took this one listening course, and it was just interesting talking about how like once your brain is triggered and you're like in this fight or flight stage,
Mentality.
like you can't
Mhm.
hear anymore. It's like you feel like you're in danger. And so then sometimes like you are just arguing and just being on this carousel. So sometimes like if you take 5 minutes and calm down and like come back to it, you'll be able to talk more clearly sometimes, depending on the topic. And then another thing too, I feel like, is asking people to repeat what you said to you. Those are some ways that I've found to be very helpful.
That's a big one.
Having them say like, okay, so what did you hear me say? It's like, okay, I heard you say turn left. It's like, okay, well, I truly meant turn right.
Right.
We're going to correct that right now. It's like, okay, now what did you hear me say? And like, just asking them that. And it does take extra work. So I feel like,
Yeah.
it's like, I have to be invested in you. I'm not doing all that.
Yes.
I just,
But see, that's where
Because let me not be
That's
invested in you, and you
that's where the
ask me
frustration
to
comes.
repeat back what you said. I'm gonna
that's
be
the
like,
frustration.
excuse me.
That's the
Yeah,
frustration
but
right there.
I'll say this just to finish.
But
answering
especially,
your
hold on, real quick.
question.
This is the thing. I can't stand when you say something and you said it so clear, and they be like, "Hold on, I didn't understand that."
But
I
it
said
might just be
very
clear to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah, it's just
might-
how you articulate it and all that.
because it makes sense to you. You were the one that said it, so it makes sense to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, of course that made sense. I was the one that said it. You know what I'm saying? But it may not be. But
Yeah.
like she said, sometimes asking somebody like repeat it back. But even that, on the opposite end of that, repeating back what the person said yourself to make sure that you have clarity, and even that does help to like diffuse things, even if it doesn't truly diffuse, but in the way it does, because I've now sort of disarmed you a little bit, because I'm now asking you, like, or not asking, but repeating back to you what I just heard you say. And then that makes that other person say, oh, they are listening. You know what I'm saying? And if you get it wrong, then they will clarify. One of the things that people really do like to do, and this is sort of like a sales technique, but sometimes you intentionally say things, make wrong assumptions on purpose, because there's something in us naturally that makes us want to correct somebody.
Mhm.
Right.
Mm.
So when you're trying to get in, like, I know it's kind of slightly off topic, but like when you're trying to get information out of somebody, make an incorrect assumption. You know that it's wrong, but that person is more than likely going to say, no, that's not right. This is the right thing. And, you know, and then they start telling you, because we have a need to just try to correct people all the time.
Yep.
So, but just to finish answering your question, I stopped arguing. I went through therapy. It was supposed to be couples therapy. She had agreed to it, and then start canceling our appointments. And I was like, look, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. So I ended up doing couples therapy by myself for
So
months.
you just ended up going to therapy.
Yeah, well, it was couple. It was supposed to be the
Right.
specifics of it was relationship, you know what I'm saying, based, the couples based.
Okay.
And you know, like so that was something that I did, and in that process I learned to do things like we set a timer. You know, like, we're gonna argue about this, not argue maybe, but like, we're gonna have a conversation. It's gonna be on a timer. We're gonna talk about this for an hour, and we're gonna split up. You talk 5 minutes, I talk 5 minutes, or whatever, and we go back and forth, uninterrupted. And like, so little things like that. Some of the stuff I taught myself. Some of the stuff that I was teaching myself, I like told my therapist about it, and she was like, that is a great idea. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure she might have adopted some of that for her other people, but like, you know, so I went through therapy. I watched all the TED Talks. I read the books and all of that. So am I perfect? No, but I do feel like I'm in a much better position for whoever comes next. You know what I'm saying? Like, and am I going to be perfect? No, because I still have to adjust around that person and how they communicate and how they love and how they do whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and their background and their traumas and their childhood. You're working with a whole new set of a whole new toolbox.
Right.
You know?
So everybody's our
But see,
personality.
DJ, I think that was the key, DJ. I think your healing with the therapist wasn't for your current situation. think
And
that's preparing for what's to come, because
well,
you had to go through like a reevaluation. You had to
right,
reevaluate yourself. You had to reevaluate flaws and all this stuff. Get rid of all of that to prepare you for what's to come. So sometimes God can intend for something to start off like this, but as you said, you start going by yourself. Well,
right,
it's because he's trying to get something out of you that you wasn't gonna get if she was sitting right there.
right. And I agree with that, because I think my therapy sessions, like she did, like after I was in it for months, she did like do a session, maybe two. But I don't feel like I would have been able to, what you're saying, Tim, to heal or not even heal, but make the progress that I did
But
if I wasn't doing it by myself. You know what I'm saying? And I know, like for me, I made a lot of changes. Like I stopped arguing, stopped like yelling and stuff when I got upset. And I felt like one of the best things that came out of that was I learned to step back. And when I stepped back and stopped arguing, I come to realize some of the manipulation tactics that were being used on me for years. You know what I'm saying? Like there were certain things that I noticed that she would do to intentionally set me off. Like she knew my trigger points. You know what I'm saying?
oh yeah.
And I didn't really recognize that there was like these little things that she would do, like trying to make me go around and round in this carousel until I got upset. But once I stepped back and I was like, look, I said what I said. I don't have nothing else to contribute. I noticed now it was her that was doing the yelling. Although she was always a part of it and denied it. And like we got into an argument one time when I was just like, she's just going off. And I was like, I just want you to take note of who's yelling. And it made her so mad. I was like,
you know what? Hold on. I think that's the best thing to do.
Like, who's yelling?
DJ, sometimes the best thing to do is because some people don't see themselves. So sometimes when you're in a relationship like that or a situation like that, you got to record them. You got to record them so they can see, like, look, this was you. This is you right here. This was you. You cannot deny it, because people, like as long as there are certain situations, they will not say that was me. Sometimes you got to put the video right there, but like play. You see, this is you. Now, if you want to keep on denying it, something's seriously wrong with you, and you need some serious help. If you're looking at you, and this is why I say, how many people can look in the mirror and say, you know what, this was me? Can you look in the mirror, forget everybody else? You look in the mirror, and when you see that person that's reflecting back at you, now what can you say? What can you say about this person? Because a lot of times we don't do that, which is self-reflection. Can I look in the mirror and take accountability for what Tim did or what whoever did? When that person look back at you, ain't nobody else there staring at you but you.
But sometimes
All right.
God got to bring you to that point too, because that's happened to me. It wasn't in a romantic relationship, but it was with my best friends. Like I didn't know that. Like I've heard, you always rebut and you just can't. And I'm like, I'm looking at it as we're having a conversation because you're saying what you want to say and you're talking to me. So I'm like, I'm sorry, my allergies are.
Oh, we at 9:00.
But I will be like, you saying what you want to say. Well, let me say what I want to say. And I had an issue because I always felt, and this came from when I was a child, I always felt that I had to explain myself because I was so misunderstood. I'm tall, so everybody always thought I was older, and then I looked older. So it was like, was she 8 years old? Why is she over there playing? No, they'd be like, was she 5'9"? Why is she over there playing with a baby doll? I'm 8. So it felt like I always had to explain myself, even with my best friends, and telling me, well, you act like this and you keep doing this, and that God had to show me, because they like somebody on here put, you don't know what you have until it's gone. So it was certain aspects of our relationship and our closeness from me acting the way I did, it pushed them away. And that caused me to, because I was like, well, God, what did I do? And he showed me everything that they said. And y'all, when I tell you that crushed me, because I'm like, but I love these people. And I don't know why we hurt the ones that we love so much. Maybe because they're there and they are so close. But I didn't realize what I was doing to them until they start backing away. And then that gave room for God to come in and be like, yeah, you're angry. Yeah, you're this. Yeah, you're that. And he, like, it would be, I guess he would show me examples or take me back to conversations. And then, like, I was open enough and free enough in some areas, healed enough to talk to my best friends like, well, what happened? And then this, and they would tell me. And at that time I had an ear to hear and eyes to see, like, yeah, I did do that. I couldn't say, they showed me, they ain't had a video, but they showed me, and I couldn't deny it. And I was just like, that's hurtful. But I also took that time to heal from that. So I get that. That's a hurtful thing. But when you're in that that rage, you can't see it. When you're in that depression, that rage, that all of that trauma that you've never been healed from, you can't see it and you can't hear it. You think you good. You think you all right. You think what you're saying is not hurtful, but you can't see it.
That's the whole point. Hey, I'm sorry. It's the 9 o'clock hour. Go ahead, DJ. I'm sorry. My bad.
You want to be a part of My Life Speaks? Give us a call right here. The number is 513-655-7060. That's that number again. Like, I can't even talk anymore, Tim.
He didn't use all of it.
I was eating soup earlier, man, and I swear, man, it's stuck in me. All right, here we go. One more time. Take 2. Action.
And now.
All right. If you want to be a part of the show, please give us a call right here. The number is 513-655-7060. The number again is 513-655-7060. Let your voice be heard. Call now. Operators are standing by, and by operators, I mean me.
Hey,
right.
Real quick, I want to ask a question, y'all. And that was so good what you said, Queen. And I want everybody to answer, and those that's in the chat listening. And also, y'all share this tonight. Share this conversation. Hey, have y'all, because like let's talk about the pros and cons, okay, of going back to the ex. Have you ever went back to your ex and was it successful? Let's start with you. Well, Chris, I know you in a relationship, Chris, so I know. But I'm saying before Karen.
Yeah, I definitely tried. I think twice with 2 different people, and it didn't work out. One, I was just young and being dumb and thought I could have it all. Then the other one actually was more older and more mature, and it just didn't work out the way I thought it would. And that's with the mother of my child. I thought it was going to work out because I tried at the end, but neither one of us tried hard enough to stay together. So mine wasn't successful. Can it be successful? I believe it can. Hopefully someone in the comment section can say that it was successful, but for me, no.
Okay. Queen.
Have I gone back to an ex? One ex I would have went back to, and I lightweight was trying to. He passed away. He passed, but you remember? I don't know if you know him, Mary Jackson's son, Jay.
Not too much.
Okay.
We probably was gone.
Huh?
I said we probably was gone. My family went. My dad got sent out.
But you way younger than me, so you.
Hold on, don't do that though. Don't do that. I still remember. I'm triggered now. I'm triggered. So I'm playing.
But no, there was an ex that tried to get back with me, but like when we were together, we were trying to be together, but that whole time he lied, like everything was a lie. and he was like, well, why don't we just start from where we picked up? I said, no, I don't start with liars and pick up with liars. Like, I don't even know who you are. I don't know the true you. So, but no, there was one ex that I would have got back with, but he needed some counseling, but I would have got back with him. But no, I mean, no, I don't have too many exes, so no.
Okay. All right. What about you, Shay? I'm gonna say Shay because I forgot how to pronounce it. So,
Ray.
There we go.
You're right.
So I have never spun the block on somebody. Me and my ex-husband, we used to get into it, and one time we got into it real bad, and I moved out, got a whole apartment and everything. Had to pay to break the lease early because I went back. But I was just mad.
You trying to say that real fast.
Right.
But I've never spun a block, but I think I would on.
Why?
Hold on, would. So that's still talking about like right now.
I'm just
What's his
saying
name?
I would.
Yeah, call it. Yeah, hopefully he watches.
What's his name?
No.
We can call him. I can do outgoing calls too.
Bring him on the show.
So
Okay,
he has to go through an evolution though for us to be together.
let's get him on the show.
No, he has to go through an evolution.
So
he has
I
to
think
go through an
it's
evolution.
interesting though, because you and Queen both said he needs to work on some stuff.
Oh, I've worked on me.
He
I'm
need
still working
counseling.
on me.
I just I just thought that was interesting. That's all.
We can talk about it. We can talk about it.
Yeah, I am perfect. So no, I'm just kidding.
DJ, hey, the DJ.
Boy, look.
No. We both have things that we need to work on, right? We both definitely have areas of growth that we can evolve in.
But does he know?
But the thing about me is, oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to say real quick, like the ex that I would have got back with, he saw one of my best friends, and this was a couple years ago. Like we broke up. Oh, I've been a nurse about 20 years ago. Dang, that's a long time, ain't it?
That's a long time.
So he saw one of my best friends at like a grocery store, whatever, and they said they hazed, and he was like, "Hey, you talked to Keisha?" And she was like, "Of course." And he was like, "Man, I should have never acted the way I did, because the things that the conversations we had and the things she said, she was right. So he needs to go through some healing, like you said, some evolution, because I've done my people work."
All right, so call him. Let's call him. Let's get him on the line.
You know him. I'm gonna send you his name.
Yeah. And send DJ the number so we can call him. Get him on the show.
I don't have his number. I think he
put his number in the chat.
I think he with somebody. She ain't as cute as me, but I think he with somebody.
Clock that T.
Y'all see Jamila? So we gonna go to
I ain't get to finish.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
So the thing about me is I have like hard stops, right? So it's like, if you don't show me that this is something that you worked on, I can't take you back. Like I can't go back thinking, okay, yeah, maybe. You have to have it figured out before we get back together. His view process on it is, let's go through it together. Let's work through what we got to work through together.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, mine is different. My thought process is, you go work on you, get you right. I go work on me, I get me right. And then let's come back together that's what we're mutually agreeing.
So
go ahead, DJ.
But that's what I was just saying earlier, man. I think that's one of those things that doesn't work necessarily. I mean, it could be different in any situation, but I think when people decide that they're going to separate and work on things, what you come to realize is that y'all not right for each other.
Yeah.
But y'all try to make it work again because y'all both went off and did work. But in that doing your work, you come to get to know yourself better and come to realize that there are certain things that you were more willing to accept when you were together than when you split apart and start working on yourselves individually. I do think there's an aspect of it where both can be done simultaneously, where you can work on yourself and the relationship at the same time. But like once you start that division, it's hard to put that back together, especially after you got to know yourself better. You know, so once you split, it's hard to make that connection happen again.
Okay, I got a question about that. So what if you, because I've noticed some, like when we were talking early, like the beginning of the show, we were talking about oh God, I just lost my thought. Questions, and yeah, we were talking about like what questions to ask. And some questions I don't ask because they will try to be that. And then once that 90 day is up, you will really, after you have, you drawn in there, because it's like they like, so what you looking for? So what, what's your type and all that? And you can say that, and they'll try to be that. When that 90 days is up and they tired of pretending, and you already like invested in they show. So with counseling together or healing together and doing all this, and they can see you, like you in it 100% and you healing and you changing. Now, what if they fake it, and then once y'all back together and y'all like this again, and then all of that comes out?
I think that's
you
like,
got to be able to drop them. You got to be able to say, you know what, that's a hard stop. I'm not dealing with that again. I don't care how much we come back to this. I can always do this.
I think that's the true sign of healing
happens
too. I think that's the true sign of healing. When you truly heal from something, your boundaries are truly stronger. Your brain truly, you just can't take it anymore. And it's not a big emotional thing. It's just like, you know what? No.
Not dealing with it. I don't have to deal with this.
I think
that way.
I don't understand that though. I
think, Queen, what you're describing almost to me sounds like what happens at the beginning of the relationship, right? Where you put on these airs and you send in your representative to even get the person, so if after you got the person and you've been together and you split up and you have a better idea what you want, and that person might come back, or you might come back and do the same thing again, you start pretending once again, just like you did at the beginning of the relationship, that you're something that you're not. But I feel like those things are always going to bubble. You can only hold up that facade for so long.
Right.
And that's DJ, that's my point.
90 days. I'm telling you, it's something about them 90 days.
But see, DJ, that's my point, exactly what he just said. My thing is like, okay, so because see, I think we want people so perfect. Like nobody's going to be perfect. Like there's going to be flaws in them. But the thing is, am I willing to stick it out with this person flaws? Because let's say, because we go through things every day or a month that we may challenge from now. We don't know what it's going to be. But so do we take a break from that? If something comes in, we're locked in. We're in a relationship. We're locked in. Something transpires. Do we say, well, I'm taking a break? Or do we be like, okay, well, we just got to adjust?
What's with this break stuff?
Something.
Well, that's just what,
especially if you
Shay said. Because Shay said I'm big on stop or something like that. Like stop, like I stop.
I have hard stops. Like I have things that I'm like I don't. Thank you, Jamila. Exactly. I have things that I'm like, boom. You do this enough times to me. I have a number. Right? You do this to me twice and I know that it's you, or you did this one time. That's a part of who you are. You're going to do it to me again, and I'm not going to tolerate it. Like as I've gotten to the tender age of 40 that I am now, there is very little I tolerate, and there's very little I care for. So if I don't care for it or I tolerate it, it's over.
And I get that, but my point, what I'm trying to put out there is there's going to be difficult times. I understand people talk about know your worth and know all this. I get all that. But what I'm saying is no relationship is going to be perfect. It's going to be work. You're going to have times where you don't want to see her or she don't want to see him. Do we quit? Do we get ours over? You're going to have disagreements. That's a relationship. You show me a person, a couple that ain't never argued, that ain't never went through nothing, and I'm like, nah. You're going to have that. That's just how it is. It's just how it is. It's ups and downs. Because first of all, that's how we are. One day we're like this. The next day we're some, like we're different. Women, especially, let me say this: women go through a lot of changes, and this is why in the Bible.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Perfect button.
No, hold on. Let me say this, because this is why in the Bible it tells us, it says, men, dwell with them according to knowledge. This is why we have to be knowledgeable on how to deal with women, because we know that women go through a lot of changes in life.
According to knowledge of thyself. Listen, y'all can't know everything about every woman.
No.
You're going to know about the woman that you're abiding with.
I didn't say everything. I didn't say everything about everyone. I'm talking about their person. That means their partner that they're with. That's why it tells us to be knowledgeable on how to handle her. It never said about a woman how to handle a man, because we're easy. We're simple. Men are very simple. Men are very simple.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Have you dated you? Have you dated you or DJ? Have you dated Chris? Have you dated any of the men I've dated, or that Jamila is married to, or that Queen has dated? No. So no, don't say y'all easy.
Men are simple. That's why it never said that in the word. It never said that. That's why it told us how to deal with y'all. It never said that.
How to deal with your partner.
I think women overthink us, which makes us seem more complicated than we are.
We're simple.
It was like, we only need a few things in life.
Go date a man and let me know how y'all feel about that afterwards.
I will try that out and I will let you know.
I feel like men are simple, but they require a lot. And I feel like women are complex, but we require a little. And so I feel like,
oh man.
And I feel like this, like men, when they're saying like, oh, we're so simple, it's like, okay, as long as we have like our breakfast, our lunch, our clothes done, our this, like respect. As long as you do these things and you continue to do them, I mean, it is fine. And I feel like women are more like, oh, we want flowers, we want this, whatever you want, but we only want it like here every so often. So I feel like women, we have to be a little bit more consistent. And men don't have to necessarily.
That's all I'm trying to say.
But I'm saying, and the things that men typically want are very similar, and the things that women want can widely differ. Oh, I may like shoes. She might like jewelry. She might like flowers. She might like this. Men are pretty much like, we want food, sex,
peace,
free stuff,
and money. That's it.
Food, and money,
sex,
and
peace, and money.
Right.
How long you been married, Jamila?
That is it. We're simple.
It's the 3 F's. Feed me, F me, and shut the F up. No, I'm playing. That was a joke.
You ain't playing.
That was a joke.
You're not playing. You did it.
Wow. You need to put that boom, boom, boom on you.
Yeah. How long you been married, Jamila?
I've been married for 9 months.
Jamila, fresh wifey. Well, not really. You was a wife, baby. Okay, so how long did y'all date before you got married?
So technically, we dated for 1.5 years, but we talked on and off for like 5 years before we dated. So we met in 2018, but we started dating. I guess we started dating. No, not 5 years. 3. We started dating in 2021.
Okay.
So what?
So pandemic. Post-pandemic relationship.
For 2022. I'm sorry. We started dating in 2022. I'm sorry.
What did you have that no other man had to that made you be in love with him?
His ability to listen to actively listen.
Well, where are you at? Put him on the show so we see.
He's not here. He's at work.
That's
But
Listen, a job. Come on. somebody.
Hello,
He
a
actually-
provider. Hello.
Woo.
and I was just like, oh, it's funny because we worked together, and at that point we were both just dating a ton of people, and but we just happened to go out, and I was like, oh, this guy. I'm like, whoever I end up marrying, I want them to be like this, but I never imagined myself marrying him. But he just actively listened, and it made me feel very heard. And I felt like, oh, like
There you
and
go.
I sometimes can tell very long stories, and he was like really listening. I was like, oh, this is
So you're
different.
very detailed.
So does he require a lot?
I feel like he does require a lot. Yeah.
What all do he require? Let's count it out.
Oh my God.
goodness.
Everything I just listed. It's a
Yeah.
lot. It's being consistent. It's the consistency that men require. And like on women, that is complex to us because we are like more creative. We're more like, oh, don't you want us to like paint this picture
That's
for
right,
you
Chip.
or do something random? But no, we have to be doing this monotonous stuff all the time. And it keeps men happy.
That's why women like drama. Like you got to come in.
What
You gotta-
women?
You
must
gotta
be talking
switch it
about
up.
people.
I'm
Like,
gonna need
nah,
you to
for real,
stop
you gotta
generalizing
Talking
because
about
I don't
Like,
like
you can't-
nobody's drama.
You
I
can't
went
come
outside,
home
I
as a
went
man
to-
doing the same thing every day. You can't just work, come home, cook, cut the grass and play the game. Now you gotta switch it up. You gotta put some drama in that woman's life, or she ain't gonna be
He
happy.
said put some.
No.
Hey, hold on.
I wouldn't
Hey,
say
heard-
drama. Maybe
I
a
need to know what the
surprise.
definition of drama is to you, DJ.
Maybe a
Drama,
surprise.
meaning you gotta create headaches. We don't want to create.
No.
No.
Listen, we don't want
No.
to create headaches for y'all.
How about
but y'all
create
like headaches.
itineraries? Okay,
Y'all-
create itineraries. I need that type of drama.
Y'all
Hello,
like
create
headaches.
a less of a
Hold on,
workload
but
on me
hold on.
one day
Check
when I
this
come
out.
home
Let
from
me-
work. Create a meal. Let's do that.
Hold on. Watch it. Oh,
Like
We don't
women
need
will
the
stay
drama.
loyal to a man that's giving her all the headaches,
No.
like all the problems. That's the man
No.
she gonna be loyal to. But the
that's
one
that's a hard
doing his
stop.
business, coming
Hard to
home,
stop.
Hard stop.
man, listen.
But I
Hey,
think that's
you
the
wild.
problem. I
She
feel
ain't
like
trying to be faithful to him.
women, we know what men want. It's this consistent thing, and it's complex for us because it's hard. We don't want to keep doing the same
do
thing.
you really know what we want?
That's why.
We do, but it's
Maybe
That's why
hard.
that's
we gotta
the
bring
discussion for the
drama.
next-
Really?
That's the discussion for the next.
I agree
Where's
with you.
AJ?
That's why we gotta bring
Baby.
y'all drama.
Where's AJ?
Do you really know what men want?
What do y'all want, Timothy?
We
do.
don't know
The
what
only
all of
reason-
y'all want.
I
All
told
of y'all
y'all
don't
there's
even know what
three
y'all want.
F's.
Y'all
Watch-
want
hey,
different
DJ,
things.
Look,
hush it up.
it's
Y'all
one
want
question.
different things.
It's one question that you can ask a woman
No.
and this will tell you everything right here. She'd be like, babe, I'm hungry. What do you want to eat?
Oh God, don't
A
ask that
seafood
question.
boil.
Because to be honest, even women are simple. Even women are simple. They want
No, we not.
listen. Women, they want to feel known. If you boil everything down, a woman wants to feel known.
Heard.
that
And
is
my
why
question
she's
is
arguing everything. 'cause
What
she-
do you want to eat?
She feels
A
like you don't know her.
A seafood boil.
I'm with her.
That's just because you ain't had that's just because you said that right now. But tomorrow she's gonna be like, I
A
don't know, whatever
seafood
you want to eat.
boil.
See, she knows what she want. But if she was asked directly by her man, she wouldn't know. She already had her mind made up.
Look at
A
look
seafood.
at
I know
look
what
at
I
Shay.
want.
Look at
I
Shay.
know what I
Shay.
want. When
Or some
and if
barbecue.
my man says, "What do you want to eat?" I know exactly what I want in that moment. I'm not gonna know right now because I'm not hungry. But
Baby.
when I'm hungry, I know exactly what I want to. I know if I want pizza. I know if my body wants salad. I know if my body needs protein. I am very self-aware when it comes to what I want and what I need. Now, when it comes down to what makes me happy, that's when men start getting a little complicated when it comes to me. Is when they're like, well, I don't know if that's going to make you happy. We'll just do it and then see, But what I want and what I need are very known things to share. I know those things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you
So I
talking
do
about
want-
all of this drama, you must be talking about children because a grown woman is not gonna want that.
That
Man, I
part.
don't know.
I do.
Go
don't know.
clock that tea.
Right.
Clock
I
that.
don't know.
I don't
But I
know.
do wanna-
It seems
I
it
do
seems
wanna-
like the man that's doing what he's supposed to be doing, now he ain't the one that get kept.
Well, he's
It's-
talking to the wrong type of woman.
It's the
Facts.
ones that brings all types of drama into
Look,
your
look how
life.
Shay, look how Shay shaking her head down. Look, got her.
because
got her
because
rubber
when you
head.
say what he's supposed to be doing, you're basing that off of what you think you're supposed to be doing with women. It's not broken down to the woman that you're with, and that's where you mess up. Go ahead, Jamila. I know you had something you wanted to say. You so soft. Go ahead, girl.
I was just gonna go back to when we were talking about
Well, she taking notes. I know that's
break.
right.
I love it.
I have to, because the way we jump around, I'm like, what was I about to say? But when we were talking about taking a break, something I saw or read that was very interesting was like they can predict if couples are going to stay together or not based on how well they solve problems together. And so when you are taking breaks, often you're not learning to solve problems together. And that is like, it's not really love that's the foundation of the relationship. It's not really all these things. It's how well can you solve a problem? When an issue comes up, can we work on it together? And so if you are taking these breaks, and as DJ said, one starts growing this way, one starts growing that way, oftentimes you're not going to come back together because you never learn how to solve that problem together.
That's what I was saying.
You never learn to work as a team.
Because we let too much time interfere. Too much time came in between.
Because my thought is when I get married, because honey, it's Lord God, come on, Jesus. When I get married, we are not. I'm not the type of person that like I don't want to do all this arguing and fussing because I'm being healed from anger. I don't want to rage out on you. Now I'm not saying that I'm gonna strangle you, but I might black out, and we're not gonna do that. But
you might be into that.
I'm a communicator. What you say?
Huh?
I'm a communicator, so I want to talk. I want to talk about this, and if you need a minute, communicate that to me. Let me, like, if you just all of a sudden just walk away while I'm talking, don't do that. Just tell me.
Hold on. So you mean tell me you gonna yank him up like, boy?
No, because listen, like we had this conversation before. I'm in my soft woman era. I don't want to do all of that. I want you to give me the safety and the security so I can be dainty and be like, babe, but I thought this and I thought so. Tell me what you meant. We're not going to break up. If we angry, we're going to sleep in the same bed. We're not doing separate rooms. You're not sleeping on the couch. I don't think that's wise.
I moved out.
Well, I think as your question earlier, Queen, I actually think that's maybe a good question, like, to ask when you were saying like what are some good questions, like how do you solve conflict?
That's the best
like what is your preferred way to solve conflict? And if they can't really answer that, or if you can tell they haven't really given it much thought, it's like I mean, not to just cut someone off immediately, but it's like maybe ask again like in a month. And if you're saying it's not important, you know, because that's a big value.
And sometimes, Jamila, you don't even have to ask. Sometimes you can watch that person's interaction with the people they work with. You can listen to how they talk to their mama on the phone. You can listen to how they talk to their friends. You can listen to how they talk to their children. Sometimes you don't even have to ask the question. You can ask yourself the question and you'll get the answer. You just ask yourself the question, write the question down. I guarantee you, God, the universe, whoever y'all believe in or whatever you believe in is going to give you the answer to that question. That person is going to give you the answer to that question. You're going to hear them talking on the phone with one of their bosses or one of their coworkers one day, and you're going to be like, oh, no. Oh, no.
I think Shay would be the one to fight.
I don't fight. I leave. And that hurts worse. I leave and I get quiet. You don't even deserve to hear my voice. You don't even deserve to be in my presence. I leave.
What do y'all think about seeing the other person in like all seasons, like the happy, joy, anger?
Oh yeah.
Love?
I definitely believe in that.
That's what I say. You know, let me see them all, because you got to think all 4 seasons. There's going to be a change. There's changes.
Yeah,
that's going to come. So I want to see how they react in certain things. And you know what? Based off what I went through, I want to see the ugliness in someone. I want the ugly. So I know up front if I can deal with this or if I can't deal with this, because that's one thing I didn't see in my marriage, and it was revealed in my marriage. I was like, ooh.
So you must not have seen it before you even got married.
No, that's what I'm saying. I didn't see it. And so now and some people be like, why would you want to see that? Well, because I want to know what level of rage
this person.
Yeah, well, like what level of rage do you have? Like, are you a 5? Or do you go to 9? Or do you go straight from 0 to 100?
Okay, but then y'all are talking about work this stuff out and stuff together. So now you see that level of rage that she has, right? Like say y'all are still dating and you see the level of rage that she has, right? Like say y'all are still in the process. Y'all have learned each other, but y'all are really vibing. But one day you see her real mad, and not mad at just anybody. She mad at you. She pissed at you. She on you. She in you. She's a part of you at this point, right? Do you walk away? Or do you say, baby, let's work on this anger together? Because,
first, like I said, it depends on the level. I want to know. Because,
no, we talking about level 10.
Okay, well, see,
like,
there's certain levels where some people be. See, I'm real calm. Like people really know me. I like to make people laugh. But in my person, I'm real calm. I'm not real arguing and want to violent. That ain't me. And I said this. I said, if you're looking for that, you got the wrong guy. Because I'm not going to cuss you out. I'm not going to call you out your name. I'm not going to, grab you by your neck and throw you and all that. Unless we're in a older.
But she's doing all this stuff to you.
Come on, Tim.
But she's doing this to you. She cussing you out. She doing all of this stuff to you. What are you doing? What are you going to do? Are you going to say that's a hard stop? I'm walking away. Or are you going to say, baby, let's work on this anger together?
I get quiet and I'm like, to me, okay, so if it's something.
What you're going to stop doing is deflecting from the question.
Well, what you're trying to interrupt me while I'm trying to give you an answer. I'm joking. But no, seriously. So my thing is this, is like, when I seen that side, I paused. I was like, wait a minute, what is going on? Why did this happen? And now me being a silly person, I started laughing because I'm like, where is this coming from? I start laughing, y'all. Laughing. I did though. Like I'm telling my truth.
I'm about to go to bed.
No, I'm telling my truth. But look, hold on. look, because to me, I'm not laughing. It's a laughter. Because I'm like, where is this coming from?
Was it like a nervous laughter?
No, I just did it. It was like where is this coming from? That's what I said. Like, where is this coming from? So, because I didn't understand, and so I didn't know how to handle that. I don't know how to. If a woman trying to swing on me and be violent, nah.
That's. No, we ended it right there.
I'm not. Yeah.
If you're angry at me, and you up here, because I don't have all of that anger and rage anymore. And if I feel something, I know how to let me go. But if you are furious at me and you cussing me out and you calling me all type of bees and whores and all this stuff, I'm done.
Gotta go.
That's it. And
everybody has a hard stop.
If you
break it is.
If you swing or if you get up in my face like you about to do something, I don't know.
You don't even have to do all that to me. As soon as I don't feel safe, I don't care if all you're doing is yelling at me. Yeah. If I feel unsafe in your presence in that moment, now when I'm alone with you and I don't know what I'm doing wrong and I'm afraid that what I'm doing or what I'm saying is going to upset you, you don't have to call me out my name. You ain't got to put your hands on me, nothing. All you got to do is make me feel unsafe.
Okay, but what are you doing? What are you doing it to him?
I will say, I feel like this question kind of, because earlier DJ mentioned age, and I feel like age is kind of a little bit of a factor in this, because I feel like sometimes you have to work with someone. Everyone's not going to be perfect, and maybe no one told them that yelling at me is making me feel unsafe. Maybe their previous relationship, they were both yelling at each other.
Not a problem.
And didn't feel unsafe. So for me, I feel like it's the workability of, is this person willing to work on it? Once I bring it up and say, hey, I'm feeling seriously unsafe. You cannot do this around me. If they start doing it and they catch themselves or something like that, for me, I'm not necessarily willing to end the relationship on that. And even in my current relationship, like my marriage, before when we were dating, something I would do was when I'm upset, I'm not talking anymore. I'm done. And my husband, who we were just dating at the time, he told me on a couple occasions, that's not okay. He's like, I need communication. You're not just going to drive home and then not talk to me for 3 days. And then now you're just so happy. and
You know what? That's what I did.
what's gonna go on.
Yeah.
That's
And
what
so I did have that conversation. He did have that conversation with me like on 2 different occasions. And I'm grateful for that because I did change. I mean, and I'd have to get very top level angry. Like my rage is like silence. Otherwise, if it's something small, I'm gonna talk about it. But it did make me reflect and be like, you know what? That's actually not right. It's not giving him the opportunity to solve the problem. And eventually, I mean, we work through it now. He probably regrets that he ever said that because I'm like, okay, hold up.
But you know what?
Talk
But you
about
know
this.
what? One thing I like is he was still willing to talk and see like some of the stuff like, but what, and now this was the issue. The issue was there was some unhealed situations that happened in her childhood and it came out in her marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that at first. I didn't know that. That wasn't discussed. And so my thing was me trying to be a comforter. I'm trying to comfort her. And she was like, no, just leave me alone. Leave me alone. Don't touch me. I was like, okay. So then after a while, it keeps saying, leave me alone, leave me alone. You then begin to like, okay, I'm going to do what you say. Leave you alone. Then it flipped. It was like, well, you don't love me. You don't love me. I'm like, now when I was trying to do that, you said no. Now when I'm not, because I'm doing what you say. But my thing is, I always learned, like, this is why you got to really conversate and talk to people to really, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, I learned from failure. So I know now, like, I'm having conversations like a mother, you hear me? Before I jump into stuff now because of what I went through. Mm-hmm. I know certain questions to ask, like Jamila said about our, I always said it right. Anyway, about conflict. How do you handle conflict? I want to know. Yeah. I want to know how, like, because I used to say this. Now, y'all don't jump on me, but this is what I used to say to her because she used to get so mad. I was like, uh-oh, she about to go Hulk mode on me, like that, right? So, you know, because I can be very sarcastic sometimes, and I can be a jerk at times. I know me.
Really?
Yeah, I definitely know me. So yeah, I definitely know me. So I can try to add to it a little bit, but I'm adding to it. I'm doing it because I don't know where it's coming from, why. But there's always a reason for something. And my things, I want to get to the reason why did something happen? Where did something go wrong? And why you acting like this? And this is why I say now, but I was willing to work because this go back to your question, Shay. He was like, are you willing to work? I was willing to work with because I stayed there. I found this out 2 years into our marriage that this happened, but it took 2 years for it to come out. But I was seeing the signs all throughout the 2 years, but it took 2 years for it to come out. And so, but that was one of the reasons why I committed adultery. It was because of some of the stuff that was going on. And I seen a lot of stuff, but that was one of the contributing. And then another thing is I just wanted to do it. So I won't blame her, but I just wanted to do it. So, but this is why I say it's so good to communicate and knowing what to talk about, unhealed trauma that people go through. And sometimes they don't want to talk about that stuff at first and it takes time, but the right questions can get it out.
Yeah. I agree.
Look at Shay. Shay triggered now, y'all.
I feel like too, though, sometimes you can ask all of the right questions, and sometimes people, they truly don't know, or they don't know themselves, or sometimes like you just realize, oh, I was traumatized. Like some things may not seem traumatizing, but then later as you're getting older, more and more things are like, oh, that affected me this way, or this affected me that way. So sometimes you can ask people all the right questions and they can give you their answer. But like you said, like it could be 2 years into a relationship and it starts coming out even for both of them, like for both people involved. I mean, sometimes the person does know, but sometimes you don't. So I feel like that is why it's important to know like how people handle conflict, like what people's values are, because they're not going to steer from those. Because I feel like in a relationship, there's always going to be unknowns. Like you're not going to really fully know yourself until like probably until death. You're always going to be learning stuff about yourself and about someone else.
Hold on, my boy Mike said, he said, been there, done that, hated it. So Mike.
Did we lose Tim again?
We did.
He gone.
We're still on live. Though. We're still live.
Well, go ahead, DJ.
All right. Well, let's see.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all still there? My bad.
Yeah, we are. Go ahead.
Okay. So my bad. I wanted to know from his side, his point of view. He said, "Been there, done it." Does that mean that he was the recipient, or was he the one that had it actually done to him?
Mike,
so let me know that, bro.
Call in.
Yeah. Hey, bro. Yeah, call in, bro. You see the number? Because I just want to know.
655-7060.
Yeah, because I'm just curious about that. But yeah, so to answer everybody's question, well, the question at the 9 o'clock hour was, did you go back to an ex? I think Shay said she did.
No,
She said she would,
Oh,
but
she didn't give us the name or the phone number.
Yeah, we was gonna call him.
yeah, I
I don't
want to
know
know
how
who
he
he
would take
is.
this.
Yeah. What's his name?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Mm-mm.
Is he in
I
the
don't like
chat?
popping up stuff on it. But I'm about to listen. I'm about to go to bed. So
She
listen, this is
said,
the
doesn't
last
he
thing I'm
work
gonna
for
say.
Spectrum? I'm weak. Don't do
This
that,
is the
bro. He
last thing I'm
said,
gonna
doesn't
say.
he work for Spectrum?
Does he work for Spectrum? What?
Nah, he being petty.
Okay,
He
so
being petty
listen.
as heck.
Honest reflection, identifying the core issues, having open and transparent communication, individual growth, rebuilding trust and safety, redefining the relationship, and testing the waters gradually are 7 things that you can do if you want to get back with your ex. And if you don't, that's fine too. I'm going to bed. Good night, y'all.
Bye.
All right.
Good night, because honey, I'm right behind you. I got to go to the
Baby.
gym. Praise God.
Well, I'm about to go to the gym in a minute, but y'all crazy, man. But look, I mean, it was good though. It was a great conversation. You know what I'm saying? DJ put his out there, and and congratulations to 9 months of marriage for you,
Jamila.
Jamila.
Thank you.
That's what's up. That's what's up. 9 months of marriage, man. And that's what's up. So y'all get to that 5 year mark. Y'all straight. You know what I'm saying? Cause hey, I'm gonna get there too. And Queen gonna get there too. That's my goal. Shoot. That's my
Mine
goal.
too.
Hey, but you know what? That's probably why I date older women too.
Mm-mm.
That's probably why I like to date older women now, because I don't know. I don't know.
Look on your face.
Hold on. What'd you say, bro? What'd you say?
Like really?
Yeah, that's just probably why I date older women though, man. Because like most, I'd be like, I'm cool.
It's a lot of young guys that try to try to holler. It's like 32. I think 32 might be the youngest. I've had a 28-year-old.
Queen, what you gonna do with a 28-year-old? Somebody knocking on the door. Who is that?
DJ.
That's DJ over there.
That's somebody knocking on Queen door.
I mean,
That's him at the door right now.
He was cool, but I saw some stuff in him that I was like, yeah, that's you. You not acting like a grown man. I just, and that, because I would never have gone that young, but he was, talking a lot to my best friend, like, would she let me love her, talking all this. And I was like, well, I could try it, but it was not. The attention was good. Conversation, he brought out that youngness, that little young spark. But it was a lot of stuff that I saw in him that I was like, yeah, I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with him.
Was it a difference in communication?
No, because we were both good communicators, but it was just some of the ways that I saw that I was like, and it wasn't necessarily bad, but it was bad for me because I can't handle certain stuff. Certain stuff I'm not going to handle. So I was just like, no, you got some growing to do. You got some, and I have a whole issue with a man and a job. If you don't have a job, or you just in between jobs all the time, or you just, I went down to part-time, or I'm at full, like, to me, that's safety and security, and I can't handle that.
What she say? Did you just give her deuces?
Yes.
I'm
like
done.
The security is everything.
So let me ask you this, Queen. Let me ask you this. Can you date a man and you make more than him? Oh, we got a caller. Hold that call. Hold that answer. Hold that answer. Look,
What's
she
up,
like
Tim?
say, what's good, Mike?
Not much. How you feeling?
Man, I'm all right, man. Thanks for calling in, bro. Hey, so what was you talking
You
about,
well?
man?
I hopped in just reading the header, going back to an ex,
All right, yeah, because you said
and
you
why I
done
looked
it, did that, and hated it, right?
yes,
Why
and
did
that
you
was
hate
part
it?
of why did I hate it?
Yeah.
There was no growth in it. I thought. I mean, I was
Oh,
young, so I married when I was with my ex-wife. I married her at 19. She was 31. So Tim, the older
hey,
women,
remember?
watch yourself.
Yeah.
What?
Hold
Hold on. She married a teenager.
on. We got a reverse Shannon Sharp here. Hold on.
Whoa.
We got
That's what she basically married. And I don't know Mike, and Mike, I don't mean any disrespect, but it was
Uh-huh.
she married a kid. Like to me,
Basically,
that's wow. So what made you want to marry
basically.
her?
Honestly, looking back at it, now that I'm 38, and I came to this a long time ago. I was young and dumb, and I got her pregnant. She was pregnant at that time, so that's like, oh, I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna be there and do all of this stuff, and it's like, yeah,
Hold
Wow.
on.
it
Okay,
wasn't.
well, so hold on. So, bro, so you got her pregnant. So you found out that she was pregnant, right? So then you wanted
Yeah,
to do the grown man thing. It was like, you know what? I want to marry her.
yeah,
So did you want to marry her
yeah.
before she became pregnant?
Honestly, no, because I met her during a breakup with someone else, and got back with
Oh,
that somebody else, and then ended up finding out she was pregnant. So then it was a
Who
breakup
told you?
again. So
Who told you
say it
the
again.
lie that if you marry her, you were doing the right thing? That is not true.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna say a lot of people. Some people that were close to me, they kind of made that comment. But looking back at it now, it was a big learning experience for me, and I say that because I don't think I would be the man that I am today if I hadn't gone through that.
Mm-hmm.
so can I ask you this, bro?
Um,
You learned the things that you learned from failure, right?
Wow.
yes,
See, that was me too. That
Mm-hmm.
was me too.
Mm-hmm.
That
yeah.
was me
So
too.
it
So
was a lot on my plate at that time, but
Whew, my God.
bro, I watch your stuff that you post, and congratulations to your son getting a basketball scholarship and everything. Um,
thanks.
so the things. How long have you been married now, bro?
Uh, 7 years in July.
That's what's up.
Congratulations.
Got
That's what's
remarried.
up.
Yes.
So do you see? All right. So my thing is, so doing the dating process, was it certain things that you were looking for, and you was like, I'm looking for something else. Like you knew what to look for now versus where you came from in the past, right? That was a deal breaker. Like, okay, yeah, I'm not. Like if she say
Um,
this or do this, was it deal breakers for you?
so yes, there were a lot of deal breakers for me. Um, Basically, I based those on the fact that I actually ended up with my 3 boys after everything was all said and done with my ex-wife. So there was a lot of things going on with that. But to be completely honest, in the beginning, I wasn't caring about who I was, not necessarily who I was not caring about who I was dating, but I was out here in the street, to be honest with you.
Got you. Got you.
But when it all boils down, like I married my best friend. When I got
There
married
you
again, I married
go.
my best friend from childhood.
Right.
So
Yeah. For
she
sure.
always knew we were getting married. I just didn't know that. So
Dang, so she knew like
yeah.
he was gonna spin the blocks. That's what's up,
No,
man. Well, hey,
yeah,
bro. Hey,
but just
sorry.
to put emphasis on the question, would you go back to an ex? I did that. It was a 10-year marriage. We were together typically for 6 of those. So when I say it was back and forth, I can't really say technically it was an ex situation, but it's what it felt like at the end of the day. Because it was never nothing, thought it was going to be a change and some growth, and it just wasn't that. So So yeah.
Man, hey, bro, you got a deep story, man. I got to get you on some other time, man.
So Princess is wanting to know how old were you when you got with her? The ex.
Say it again.
How old were you when you got with the ex?
With the ex? Oh man, this is when I say this is my. Ooh,
Yeah, you was 19
I
when
was
you
19 when I got with her. Yeah.
You was 19 when you got married.
Yeah, I was 19 when I got married, but I was with her, broke up with her. Then we ended up getting back together.
No,
then
I think.
But like, when did you
married her.
start? When did you start? Did you guys start dating when you were like 17, or did you just date her at 19 and get married right away?
And I met her at 18, so it was kind of like a back and forth roller coaster to begin with. So yeah. So that's when I say getting back, like learning the lesson early. It's just sometimes the signs are there, but when you're young, you don't think about that stuff.
Facts. Come on, man. Facts. So basically, you're saying a lot of stuff we've done it in our youth, because this go back to last week too, like what DJ was talking about. A lot of stuff we've done in our youth, and as we get older, it's like we just like, nah, like I know now, like I'm not just going through that no more, because you know I'm grown now. I'm a grown man. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up, man. Hey, well look, y'all got any more questions for him, Jamila, Queen, DJ?
Oh no.
Got nothing for
Thanks
you.
for calling in.
Mike, I appreciate you, man.
All right, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks, bro.
All right, man. Peace.
Hey, y'all, look, we got 5 minutes left, man. We got 5 minutes left in the show. So let me ask y'all this, man. What y'all want to talk about next week, man? DJ, what you want to talk about, man?
Oh, man. Don't even.
What y'all want to talk about? Hey, in the chat, what's a topic that y'all want us to discuss? Anything that y'all want us to discuss, you know, for next week. You know, it's some things that's been going on, man. I won't talk about the what you call it trial, man, Diddy trial. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. Oh, Princess said that she was a predator.
That's right, though. When Queen was a child, I'm like, right at 18. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's why she was asking how old they were when they were together. Got together.
You a child. You are a child. And you're
a literal baby.
You're a child.
Why men play games? Oh man.
Who said that?
Hey, but look, I'm gonna tell you why we play games, because we work hard, and then when we come home, we just want to pick up the sticks and play them games.
Yeah, exactly. We want
to play 2K. We want to play Madden. You know what I'm saying? Little Mortal Kombat. You know what I'm saying?
It's that simple.
Because that's what we do. That's what we do. We play games to alleviate the stress of the day.
Yeah, the stress that she gonna put me through. Right, exactly.
Yeah, so that's
I'm just playing. But nah, man, it gotta be something, man. So she said, wow. Hey, Queen, you said something about what the men want or something like that.
What do men want?
I think that's a good topic.
No, we're gonna have to have we need AJ on here.
No, I think a good topic is what do women want. I feel like we always focus on what do men want.
Oh my God,
we don't. We never talk about. We always talk about.
So many talk shows. Y'all got all the talk shows. There's not one man talk show.
Wait, hold on. Here we go. Because
and we ain't talking about Steve Harvey.
because y'all were just saying that, you know, y'all so simple and all of this stuff.
We are.
And then y'all say that women want all the drama. Why do y'all want all these? And I ain't gonna say the cuss word, but all these big booty. Why y'all want them?
First of all, I don't.
Then you have beautiful women like myself and Jamila, and y'all just be walking right past us until y'all old niggas be all wore out. Then y'all want to be all up looking crusty and dusty. Honey.
It's heredity.
Then y'all want to come. It ain't no heredity. Then y'all done did so much with these women out here. Y'all gotta take the blue pill or get a penile implant, and then y'all want to
hold on. Wait a minute.
I'm just saying, because y'all say we drama, so are y'all.
No,
because that's what y'all like.
We
give y'all what y'all want.
No.
I'll say this,
Man.
all the talk shows, Tim, that you're saying we have, guess what they all talk about? Men.
No.
Women are constantly talking
No,
about men.
no,
They're
right.
constantly-
That's my point. They talk
Let's-
about men, but they talk about men from a woman's perspective.
Let's
You
talk.
got to understand what a man wants from a man perspective.
But I'm saying there are so many people speaking out on this is what men want. They have the little Derek Jacksons. What was that one guy who he passed away, but he was like,
Samuels.
yes,
Kevin Samuels, the GOAT. He was the
You have
GOAT.
so many people who have women
Go.
as their audience because women, we're trying to figure out what do these men want? What do these men want?
I
I
told
barely
you,
see
I was-
anything.
I was
about
It's
what
real
women
simple.
want.
I was
What is it?
partially joking what I said earlier, but them 3 F's, man, that's
So he got 3, right?
I
got
do
5.
agree with him though. I mean, yeah, he was
Like,
joking.
I got-
but
like,
I got 5. I got 5 things. 5 things: food, money,
Mhm.
our money, sex, peace and quiet, and sports. I can take that 5 things. I'm good.
Some of us want that too.
But those are the 5 basic.
That's a-
Those are 5 basic human security.
that's it. That's
No,
all
no,
we
no.
need.
That's
Let's-
what I'm
let's
talking
talk
about.
about- Let's talk about.
That's what we're talking about.
Let's
That
talk
is
about
fun.
traveling. Let's
Simple.
talk about traveling together, platonic.
All of that's extra. Like
But
that's
hold on.
good.
No. Y'all saying what's the topic? Let's talk about
Oh.
something else
Oh.
that we like to do. Let's talk about a group of us from the show just traveling or just period. Like let's talk about traveling without the expectation of sex. Why can't we just be platonically
Oh,
cool?
hey, yeah.
Why can't we just be platonically cool and travel and have a good time? Because that's what I want to do. I don't want to always travel with a whole bunch of women. I want to co-ed travel. Let's have a good time. Ain't nobody trying to sneak over to the other person's room. Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about
Hey.
cruising. Let's talk about.
cabin. Like,
Let's talk about bucket list.
Queen. So look, this what you do. Put it in a question form so we can put it out there for the people. And y'all, hey, we thank y'all. It's 10 o'clock. We thank y'all, all those that tuned in. Share this conversation. Hey, keep the comments coming because we can still see the comments even after the show's gone. We can still see the comments, y'all. Make sure y'all hit up My Life Speaks on YouTube. It's the red logo, red and black, not that one that's trying to perpetrate like they us and take our followers, all right, and our subs. So the red and black on YouTube, hit us up, y'all, and send us, topics that y'all want us to discuss. Queen, put that in the question form. Hey, y'all, it's been My Life Speaks, y'all. Y'all be safe, all right?